Today I want to walk through how to set up the controller once you receive your Commander 2. After hooking up the 12 volt power, first thing we will do is power on the console with the toggle switch. A few numbers will flash across the screen, letting us know that it is cycling through the startup, and then it will be ready for standard calibration mode. This mode is where you would enter the custom numbers for your specific implement. To enter calibration mode, hold down the Cal button or the CAL button for 2 to 3 seconds until the red light goes solid, indicating that we are now in calibration mode. Now we're able to go around the horn and calibrate our system. We'll start at rate. This naturally would be where you would want to enter the target rate in gallons per acre. For this specific setup, we're going to do 5 gallons an acre. You can go down in rate or up in rate. And the same is true when you're actually driving through the field planting. You would be able to change that rate right there at 1 gallon at a time or a half gallon at a time, depending on how you want to do that. Next, we would go to adjust rate. And right now it is set at 1 gallon at a time. And the adjust rate is where we would set the amount of rate change by pressing that plus or negative button. And again, very simple there. Most time, factory setting is at 1 gallon increments there. Next, nothing in the volume per minute or PF ratio. Then we would go to continue calibration and the startup here to the flow cal. Again, very simple here. This is where we would enter the calibration number for your flow meter. There are several different flow meters across the board, but again, in this scenario, we're using our 0.3 to 5 gallon per minute electromagnetic flow meter from Surefire Ag, which requires a 6,000 pulses per gallon number. So then we'll flip it over to width cal, and this is where you would enter the width of the implement in inches. This is really important because if it's too much, we're going to be pumping off, and if it's too short, we're not going to be pumping enough either. So this is a very important place to make sure that we're entering the width of the implement in inches. So it's flashing no boom right now. We would go to the 3 switches on top of the Commander, and each one is a section, and we're only able to do up to 3 sections with our Commander 2. So I'll flip on boom 1. We've already got 120 in the controller, and this is an 8-row implement that we're showing here on the screen today. So 120 inches for section 1, 120 inches for section 2, and we're just doing half width 2 sections on this particular setup. So once you've put in the width, we'll move through to the speed calibration number. And again, this is a very important number. This is where we would enter the calibration number for the Astro 2 speed sensor, a grain drill shaft speed sensor, or any other type of speed sensor that would be required to monitor ground speed. So without ground speed, our system's not going to be able to talk to the flow meter and then give those piece of information back to our Commander 2. So in this box, 0.189 is going to be the calibration number for our Astro 2 speed sensor. We'll continue around the horn here in calibration mode, standard calibration mode on the Commander 2. Next is control speed. And this would be the number, essentially would tune the system in a little bit tighter if we were going too fast or going too slow, if we were over adjusting. It would kind of dial that in tighter. So again, the factory setting there is going to be -2 for both our electric pump systems and our hydraulic pump right systems. But be sure to reflect back to your specific manual for other platform values. And lastly, here in standard calibration mode, we go to test speed. This mode is only used to verify operation after that we have calibrated the entire system. So we're at that point, and we would leave that at 0 for now, and then we would come back in a different test mode and be able to test the system here on speed. But right now for standard calibration, nothing would go in this box. So to finish with the calibration, we simply need to save those numbers. We would hold down the cal button just like we did to get into it. Hold it down, light goes away, and those cal values have now been saved in the system. And we are ready now to operate the system as we have calibrated it in standard calibration mode.